So, the ocean scares the shit out of me.
Me too.
I mean, the massive blue unknown. I mean, given all that we supposedly know about physics and how the outer reaches of space and all this and all that, we still know less than, I think it's like 15% of what's in our own oceans, which is a scary concept to me.
Which makes me wonder how's everybody so sure that certain things are extinct that they think are extinct that live in the ocean?
Haven't seen them. That's really it. Hell, everyone was convinced the giant squid was extinct until they found it again not too long ago.
Yeah, there's literally like pretty big squids that like live off this Pacific coast of the U.S. Terrifying. They have beaks like the size of fists, and if they were to grab you and bite you, they'd just take that big chunk of flesh out of you.
I mean,
and they live in groups.
I mean, coelacanth still around.
And also they're saying, what about the megalodon? What if the megalodon's still alive?
That's the thing that terrifies me. That's why I don't even want to be on a boat or like a ship in the ocean. Just in case.
I feel like that would be hard to. That'd be hard to go unnoticed.
Just depends on if it evolved to the deepest parts of the ocean or not.
Yeah, but it'll probably like have to eat whales, right? I mean,
No, there's smaller creatures that exist, like low enough on the some parts of the ocean floor.
for like what, like a 40-foot shark to sustain itself on? I mean,
Blue whales sustain themselves off of krill.
well, yeah, but like they have a filter in their mouth. Like you're talking about like basically a souped up great white. I mean, it has to eat like meat.
Yeah, it can eat anything. Dude, it can eat garbage and survive off of that.
I mean, if you say so. I mean,
Well, I've seen...
I don't know that much about megalodons, so
I don't know if they get nutrition from garbage, but there's definitely been like big sharks that they've found like have eaten weird things that are still in their stomach.
Oh, yeah. They're survivors. They're... Like, the great white is...
They found a great white, I think somewhere near Hawaii recently, that was like nearly Jaws size. She's a thick bitch, apparently.
Thick bitch.
Yeah. And I was just like,
That's literally what they're going to call her from now on. Thick bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, hey, kids, who wants to go see Thick bitch?
Not me. I won't be anywhere near her. Shark's fucking terrifying.
It is terrifying. It's terrifying to think about. Just
have fucking chainsaw mouths, like, Jesus.
oh. And not only that, if their teeth fall out, they grow back.
Yeah, it's like if so like you get playful. Say you get playfully bit by a lioness who's not really planning to kill you. You know, she just took a nom to just test you out. You know, it's like you got stabbed basically a couple of times with like a pretty good size set of teeth. You know, that would hurt. That would suck.
Oh, the incisors.
You get playfully checked by a shark. You still got shredded. You got fucking mangled.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, they're horrifying.
That they are. And the ocean, a scary monster in itself. You know, this video came out a while ago, and people have been asking us to watch it for a long time, so I figured, what the hell? Let's see what this is all about. The ocean is way deeper than you think. Let's get it on screen.
I feel like people that ask for this just know that I hate the ocean and want me to have nightmares.
Yeah, probably. I mean, who's to say, really? There we go.
Everybody's like, just don't go in the ocean. And I'm like, I still get weird thoughts thinking about it.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The ocean is really, really deep. Deeper, in fact, than most of us realize. If you were to shave off all of the land from the tops of every continent and island in the world and fill up the ocean's deepest points with that land, then the entire Earth would be covered in an ocean 2 miles deep. 3/4 of our planet is already covered in water, though, and it goes a lot deeper than just 2 miles. Let's start with a sense of scale. This dot right here is the size of an average human. This slightly larger dot is the size of an elephant, and this is the size of the largest ship ever built, the Knock Nevis. With that in mind, let's start going underwater and see what we find out. The first milestone is at 40 meters below the surface, which is the maximum depth allowed for recreational scuba diving. A little further down at 93 meters is where the wreck of the Lusitania was discovered, which is interesting because the Lusitania itself is 240 meters long, which means that it sank in water shallower than it is long, so if the ship was standing on its stern or bow, it would be sticking out of the water. Just slightly deeper than that, at 100 meters, is where diving can become seriously fatal if you're not careful because of decompression sickness.
Yep.
But that didn't stop a man named Herbert Nitsch to accomplish the free diving world record at a depth of 214 meters.
Crazy
This guy
son of a
swam
bitch.
down to this
Jesus,
level
man.
with just one single breath. But
Nope.
a little further down at 332 meters, we have the scuba diving world record, which was accomplished by another man named Ahmed Gabur. If he had swam down another 111 meters, then he would have reached the height of the Empire State Building if it was submerged underwater. And a little further than that, at 500 meters below the surface, we arrive at the maximum dive depth of blue whales, the largest creatures on the planet and also the limit of the US Seawolf-class nuclear submarine. At 535 meters, we can witness the maximum dive depth of emperor penguins, and this is when we must bring up the intensity of water pressure. At this level below the surface, the water pressure exerted on a person, or the penguins, would be roughly equivalent to a polar bear standing on a quarter. So further down the depths, at 830
no idea
meters,
penguins
would
were
be
so
the
durable.
height of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the
The
tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
Once we hit 1,000 meters below the surface, we begin to enter the scary zone. Light from the surface can no longer reach beyond this point, so the rest of the ocean below is shrouded in permanent darkness.
Oh,
On top
that
of
would
that,
be-
the
that's the
water
most
pressure you would
terrifying part.
experience at this
Yep.
point would be about the same as if you were standing on the surface of the planet Venus, meaning that you would die very quickly. You would also meet the giant squid at this sea level if the water pressure didn't already kill you. At 1,280 meters, we reach the maximum depth dived to by the leatherback sea turtle, and further down at 1,828 meters,
Yeah,
we
some
would
animals
reach
are
the
durable,
deepest
man.
part of the Grand Canyon were it to be underwater with us. Down at 2,000 meters, we start to encounter some of the more terrifying sea creatures, like the ominously named black dragonfish, a carnivorous beast with a stomach that doesn't allow light to be emitted through it. Meaning that since we're in total darkness underwater at this point, the only way you would ever see this thing is with a flashlight.
Oh my
A little
gosh,
further down
yeah.
at 2,250 meters, we would
Yes.
reach the maximum depth dived to by both sperm whales and the very frightening colossal squid. Sperm whales often have sucker marks and scars left on their bodies from battles with the colossal squid that likely take place at these incredible depths.
Yeah,
The
I've heard
squids
about that.
themselves can grow to be 14 meters long and weigh up to 750 kilograms with eyes the size of a dinner plate and razor-sharp sickles in the middle of their tentacles. So yeah, good luck with that down there. Way further down at 3,800 meters, we can find the wreck of the RMS Titanic. And a bit past that, at 4,000 meters, we start to enter the abyssal zone of the ocean.
Yeah.
Water pressure is at an astonishing 11,000 pounds per square inch down here, and there are numerous strange, almost alien-like creatures that inhabit these depths,
My
such as
God.
the fangtooth, anglerfish, and viperfish. Down at 4,267 meters is the average depth of the ocean where you would normally expect to hit the floor, but there are parts of the ocean that go significantly deeper than even this. At 4,791 meters rests the wreckage of the battleship Bismarck sunk during World War II, and way down at 6,000 meters is the beginning of the Hadal Zone, named after the underworld Hades itself. The water pressure down at these depths can become 1,100 times what you would experience way back on top at the surface, which is roughly equal to an elephant balancing on a postage stamp or a single person carrying the weight of 50 Boeing 747 jumbo jets. Down at these depths,
Try
you will
doing
be
that.
crushed
Try training in
immediately
that
without any
gravitational,
outside protection,
room,
but life
Vegeta.
still exists down here in various strange forms. At 6,500 meters, we reach the maximum depth that the DSV Alvin can dive to, a popular research submarine that helped to discover the Titanic. Way further down at 8,848 meters below the surface, and we have arrived at the height of Mount Everest, where to be upside down and placed underwater. And then, way further past even that, at 10,898 meters, we arrive at the depth reached by James Cameron in 2012 during the Deep Sea Challenger mission. The deepest point in the ocean yet reached by humans was back in 1960, though, when two men named Don Walsh and Jacques Piccard reached a depth of 10,916 meters using their Trieste submarine. It took them 5 hours to descend through the ocean to this depth, and they only stayed for 20 minutes before a window cracked and they began to resurface. Just a bit further down from there at 10,972 meters, and we reached the average flight altitude of a commercial airliner. So if you've ever looked out of a window while on a flight and looked down to the ground, that's a very good sense of how incredibly deep down into the abyss that we are currently at. Finally, when we hit 10,994 meters, we have hit the bottom of the known ocean called the Challenger Deep, right here on this map just about 300 kilometers southwest of Guam Island. However, it is believed that there are almost certainly even deeper parts of the ocean than this that just haven't been discovered yet. It wasn't until 1997, after all, that the Sirena Deep was discovered with a depth of 10,732 meters, making it the second deepest known point in the ocean. It is estimated that only about 5% of the ocean's floor has been accurately mapped, leaving the other 95% to be currently a mystery. It may be only a matter of time before an even deeper part of our ocean is found, and who knows what we may discover there. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
Well,
if you'd like to stay up to date with videos in the future just like this one, then you can subscribe to my channel by clicking here. And if you'd like to see some similar videos in the meantime, then there are some older videos over here on the left. Thank you again so much for watching this video, and we'll see you again next time.
That's why I don't understand sometimes how, like, when certain craft and vehicles, like, end up sinking into the ocean, like, and nobody really knew where they went down at, how they actually end up coming across and finding them when there's so much of it that's not even mapped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it
seems like a very small percentage chance that you would actually be able to find something like that again.
Well, imagine, if you will, one day they're mapping, they finally build something that can withstand the pressure of the ocean floor, like, all over, and they're going and they're going and they're going, and they see this fuselage on the ocean floor, and they read along the side of it, Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it is. I mean, I'm convinced that's where it is. I mean,
I just want to know what leatherback sea turtles are doing all the way down there.
Hanging out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess just hanging out and getting away from certain predators.
Is that where they have to eat? Because it's like they breathe air.
Well,
like,
that's the maximum depth. Like, I don't think that they stay down there.
Yeah.
For a certain reason. I think that's the deepest that they go. Sometimes, maybe before dealing with having to deal with predators. Instead of having to deal with predators, they just go down that deep and just like, okay, I'm gonna stay down here a little bit. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they have to come back up to breathe though, so I feel like it's a lot of work.
They have to, but
it's like, who strapped a GoPro on one to figure out how far it went down? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to do a little bit of research and find that out. It's like the colossal squid and the sperm whales. I mean, hearing about those, like,
I mean, everybody knows about that stuff though.
Well, no, like actually seeing how deep down they fight, how deep down they are whenever they do fight.
Oh, I mean,
that to me is like just crazy.
I thought that was like pretty common knowledge at this point.
Oh no, I know they fight each other. I've seen plenty of evidence of that. It's just knowing how deep down they can fight. But the comparison that they did, like the top altitude of a plane flying overhead, 10,000 meters, and the drop down to the. That's like, to me, that's similar. If the two were fighting, it'd be like a Dragon Ball Z fight in the sky. Like all of a sudden you just hear boom, 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 and you'd look up a few thousand feet in the air. There's these two guys just flying around beating the shit out of each other. I mean, it's crazy to think how deep the ocean is. I mean, it fills me with just a sense of dread that it's almost suffocating in some ways. Because to me, one of the worst nightmares I have is someone tying a chain around my ankle that is tied to a very heavy weight and them just throwing me into the Marianas Trench. Like, it's literally sitting right over top of it and just toss it over, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. Nothing.
I mean,
Unless Aquaman just mysteriously comes out of nowhere and saves my ass.
I mean, you got like 2 minutes before you black out, unless the sea turtles get to you before then.
Or I get devoured by a shark.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it sees this thing, it's just like, oh, what's that? Nom, and I just get munched. Oh God. Oh, just. And also, what if we do discover a trench down there, and then we go to the bottom of it, and all of a sudden this gigantic eye opens up, and that bastard who just got down there just awoke Cthulhu, and then Cthulhu comes up and he's just like, "You done fucked up."
I kind of feel like he'd have a weird sense of humor. He might be like, "Sup with you, boy?"
Sup with you. I can actually see Cthulhu doing that. Like all of a sudden, he just leans down in front of Trump, and there's Trump. He's just like, "You see, this is why I wanted to build the wall."
I mean, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I love H.P. Lovecraft, but all you gotta do is ram with a ship and he'll explode into a bunch of sunfish. He's not that tough.
It's just the thought of him being that massive.
I mean, granted, you go insane after that, apparently, but sunfish, hey, everybody loves a little mola action.
So
I was trying to look up about the guy who did that longest free dive. So I was interested in some of the details of that, like how long would you have to hold your breath to pull that off and stuff like that.
well,
They don't say that part for sure. It's mostly about the distance, but it did say that when he did his, he surpassed his own no limits depth of the dive in June of 2012 to 253.2 meters, suffering injury in the process.
probably
He did not do it unscathed.
It would not be worth it.
no. I'd
Sounds
say
horrible.
he probably like suffered some scar tissue damage potentially on his lungs, because that's something that builds up, like because of the if you don't properly exhale on the way up, you build up nitrogen pockets in your lungs, and enough damage can cause scar tissue, and if there's too much nitrogen in there, it'll cause your lungs to explode. I mean, that's Boyle's law of in terms of hydrodynamics, and it's crazy to think about how stuff like that works.
Yeah.
The bends will kill you.
Oh yeah, world record holding breath. Okay.
World record egg was the first suggested.
I don't know. 22 minutes and 22 seconds.
What the fuck?
German freediver Tom Sciatus.
I was thinking like the maximum like a person could usually hold their breath was somewhere around 4 to 7 minutes.
I mean, the average person, you're lucky to get like 2.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
I know there's something about like they say when you fall into freezing water, like if you get trapped under ice or something like that in winter, you actually can basically like survive for longer than you normally would be able to due to something about the temperature of the water and stuff and your body temperature and like your I guess like your metabolism slowing or something like that. Like I think technically like your body would use the air more conservatively until you get another breath.
I'm looking here. I remember David Blaine tried to do the world record for holding your breath underwater, and he had this huge clear orb sphere that he got into. Had a little line come down to him. He breathed in, breathed out, and then breathed in deep, and then just like stayed in there as long as he could. And I forget how long he. They say it's 8 minutes and 58 seconds. Although I don't know. I think that might be his the longest he held his breath, which I'm lucky if I can get to like a minute and a half. That's the longest I've ever held my breath underwater. I know that there's some people out there that can do like 4 or 5 minutes, which is nuts to me to think about that. But
I mean, I remember being a freshman in high school, and me and this guy, we started like trying to practice, and like 2 minutes was pushing it. Like, I mean, we had to work to like.
yeah. I never like tried or anything. I was just at the pool at my family's house, which by the way, my mom, the house she's moving into now, they have the house that they have lived in for the longest time. They didn't have zoning rights to put a pool in the ground because of a septic tank that was out there. But now they have full zoning rights at this one house, and one of their first orders of business is to put in a pool. So,
Nice.
so yeah, might be able to have pool parties.
Also thought that was interesting. It was saying that his world record for holding his breath after inhaling pure oxygen is 17 minutes and 4 seconds. The record without pure oxygen, which he failed to break during an attempt last year at Manhattan's Lincoln Center, is 8 minutes and 58 seconds, and that was as of 2008. But it's interesting that, like, if you actually inhale pure oxygen, you get almost twice the amount of time.
Well, in all
Or
honesty,
actually, you do.
the breath,
Yeah, almost twice.
what we're breathing right now is actually 70% nitrogen. This isn't pure. This isn't like pure oxygen. Our bodies subsist off of oxygen. We need oxygen to live. However, it is not pure oxygen that we are breathing. It's like part of it's actually other carcinogenics and carbon dioxide and all that we've already breathed in and breathed out. But in terms of if you have pure oxygen, it's like they have liquid oxygen now that people have actually gone on crazy deep dives with. They've actually like submerged themselves in liquid oxygen and have gone down thousands and thousands and thousands of feet. I mean, I think the one scuba record, I think that was actually I think it was like almost 2,000 feet. The guy went down. It was crazy thinking
Is
about.
that like just breathing that directly into your lungs?
Well, it's liquid oxygen. Pretty much how it works is a lot like how amniotic fluid works. How a baby in the womb breathes amniotic fluid. It's basically the same principle. It has pure oxygen in it, so that whenever you're submerged in it, all it does is it keeps refueling your lungs every time you pseudo breathe. You actually don't have to breathe while you're on it because your lungs are already filled up with it. But then when you resurface, eventually the oxygen within the liquid does run out, and when that happens, you actually drown. You actually drown on the liquid, which at that point has pretty much just become overly carbonated, and you're pretty much done.
Yeah, because I don't know how accurate he went with it, but I remember in Metalocalypse and the Mermaider episode.
Oh yeah, with Toki,
yeah,
Toki
they put
being
him
put
in
in
the
the
liquid
suit.
oxygen tank, and he's like, without the proper breathing, he will die.
Like, and on
And he starts to
the
go,
friends.
yeah, he starts to go insane while he's in there and sing to the fish and
Just
stuff.
sing myself a song with my underwater friends in the ocean. I remember that.
Underwater friends, you're my underwater friends.
God, such a crazy ass show.
Safe, not safe. There's monsters.
It's monsters. It's not safe. Sir. It's not safe. All right. Well, we've dilly-dallied enough on this stuff. We're gonna call it a rest on this video. So if you all enjoyed what you saw here, feel free to let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more, hey, as always, you can go to the link in the description, and you can also click the subscribe button on our channel and the little notification bell, and also leave a like on the channel, or leave a comment down below. Always helps the channel out. So until next time, signing off. I'm Nate,
Micah.
I'm Nick.
and we will see you all in the next one. A peace out.